Hello and welcome to a surprise bonus episode, I suppose. I keep talking about the rocket tea and we've got quite a few new, I don't know why I say we. I have got quite a few new subscribers who may not know about my rocket tea obsession. So I thought I'm going to just do a little, probably won't end up being little. I've got a pile of yarn here to show you. I'm going to do an episode talking about my rocket teas. And the reason for that is, as I've stated, new viewers may not know about my obsession, but also because I'm getting close to finishing something, and that means I'm going to be casting something on. I shouldn't, but they're my rules, so I can break them. And I want to cast on this, but more about that later. Right, the rocket tea. I have 6, 5 of which I knitted myself. This one I did not, so I'm going to start with this one. This one was knit by my very lovely friend Denise from Dear Designs. I will link her channel below. Denise and her partner have been on the most fantastic weight loss adventure, and her loss was literally my gain because this became too large for her, but it fits me very, very nicely, and it is in fact my colours, as you can see. So I gratefully accepted this when she offered it to me, but I can't tell you anything about the yarns because I don't know. It is knit strictly according to the pattern. There are eyelets on the raglan increases, which is, the rocket tea is by Tanis Lavellee, Tanis Fibre Arts. I will link it below. Should have mentioned that before I got into my flow, shouldn't I? Yes, so this is made according to the pattern. There are eyelets on the increases, I-cord neckline, I-cord on the sleeves, I-cord on the bottom. There are not eyelets down the sides, which I actually prefer because I like mine. It's designed to fit a little boxily, but I like mine to be quite fitted, and then you can see bra side, and I don't think I particularly like that. So yeah, this one was not knit by me. I'm going to put it back. They're all a little bit creased because they've been in a drawer. I don't wear them very often, which is silly. I should wear them more. Right, this is the very first one that I knit. It was not this colour when I knit it. It was a kind of a beige, and where you can see there's some speckling on there, they were pinks and browns. Well, the yarn faded really badly. I don't know if you can see. There's quite a lot of speckling here. Get down to this skein and it's almost all gone. It wasn't my yarn. I'm not going to say who it was by because that's not fair. But suffice to say, I loved the tea so much that when the yarn faded, I over-dyed it myself. So I over-dyed it in already as a garment, and it worked really well actually. This one is knit completely according to the pattern. So all I-cord edgings, and this one does have the eyelets down the side. So that was the very first one I made. I'm trying to remember when I made it. 2021, I think. Let's say 2021. The next one I made was this one. Now, I made some adaptations to this one. I made the sleeves a little longer, though they still have the I-cord edge. and I think I left the eyelets in the side, but I did the thing I do, and oh, you can't really see, I got impatient and I cast off too soon, which makes this one a bit too short, and this is the one that I wear the least because of that. It has an I-cord bind off on the bottom, and as you can see, if I just hold it up, that loves to flip up. So when I wear it, not only is it a little too short for me, so I will only wear it over a dress really, but every time I sit down, as my back slides down the chair, as it were, as I sit down, this just rolls up, and I spend half my life tucking it back down. So sadly, this is the one that I wear the least. The yarn in it, I can only really remember this solid green, and that was by Amanda from Little Lycac. That was Mojito. The other two I don't really remember, but none of these, in fact none that I've knit, look like the pattern itself. This is a different sweater. This is the Pop Rock, but the Rocket Tea pattern is like this. So you're meant to use a fingering weight and a mohair and stripe the two, and I haven't done that on any of them yet. So modification to this one was a longer sleeve, which I did like. Should have made a longer body. I can tell how much shorter it is because I've got the drawer that they live in down here to put them back in, and that fits in there with about that much space, and the others fit exactly. So, oh no, that wasn't the next one. This was the next one. This one I adapted yet again. I didn't do the eyelets, but I did do some A-line shaping. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. I also tried something. You may notice that the stripes on the top half are wider than the stripes on the bottom. Now, if I'm brutally honest, I got fed up of changing yarns every 2 rows, but I hoped it would work like an optical illusion and make the bottom seem smaller in contrast. I don't know that it does. This one, I went the opposite way, and I made this one far too long. So when I wear this, it's usually with leggings, because it's down past my hips basically. I went too far the other way. The yarns for this are an undyed. The pink is again from Little Lycac, Amanda, and I'm sure that's Montague. And the green, which you may be able to see if I hold it really close, has got speckles of a similar pink in it. That was dyed by my friend Caroline and her son Andrew of the Aria Bark podcast for my birthday. So I put them in there, and I do like this one. I will wear it outside the house with jeans. I will not leave the house with leggings on, unless I've got a dress over the top. I've just got something in my eye. So this one, unfortunately, it gets a fair amount of wear, but in the house. Excuse me, I'm just going to have to, I bet it's a bit of fluff of something. Sorry. Particularly sorry if you've got a thing about people's eyes. Yeah, sorted that out now. Right, this one. I made this one last year, and I made it really to wear to the Southern Wool Show. This was the first one that I started really adapting. So in between the pink and green and cream striped one and this one, I'd started another one. It's up there. I've got to pull it down and restart it. It's orange and cream, and the cream has got orangey and yellow speckles in it. It's very, very pretty. But I was knitting it with the eyelets on the raglan, and I got in a mess. I got in a real mess. And I've shown it several times. I got it out on a whip parade and said, this is the one that I made a mess with, and couldn't find where I'd made the mess. Essentially, the hole is in the wrong place. The eyelet is in the wrong place. And I thought, well, if I can't find it, it's probably okay. Just carry on and knit it. But that wasn't going to work. So it needs pulling down. And I'm going to re-knit it like this. So, no eyelets. I have adapted the way I increase for the raglan. I've also put on ribbings because the I-cords flip up and drive me bananas. So from here on in, they will all have ribbing. The yarn for this is one of my gradient sets. This is Twilight, which was the most popular. Let me show it to you this way. I'll show you the back, you get to see all the colours. It finishes here with this really dark. And I didn't have quite enough to get the length I needed. I needed just that much more length. So I just pulled a navy out of stash. And it goes. It's okay. This was very, very popular, this gradient set. Surprisingly, because a lot of people don't like yellow. But I think, not wanting to blow my own trumpet, I think it just goes so nicely with the pink and with the blue that people overcame their fear of yellow. So I made that. This one has also got some A-line shaping, I see. Because I have an A-line person, so I must put in A-line shaping. Yeah, that was for the Southern Wool Show. I wanted that and I wore it. Sunday, I think I wore that one. And this one I wore on Saturday. This one I knit out of a gradient cake from Yarn Mixology, and I'm trying to think what it was called. Can't remember. Temptation. It was called Temptation. So it starts off with this beautiful rich pinky burgundy, and then it goes through into black really, and then into purples, and then to a lighter purple. I had a 10,000. Right, I have dyscalculia. I think I said that right. And I really struggle with numbers that have lots of zeros after them. So it was either 1,000 metres. It must have been 1,000 metres. 10,000 metres is way too many. We're going to say it was a 1,000 metre cake. And it wasn't going to be quite long enough. So the lady, Debbie, is it Debbie? Doesn't matter what the lady's name is. She did me a custom cake that I just used for the very last bit. It was a bit like the last one. I just needed about that much. But she does a 500 metre pop, it's called. And she did me one in the same combination of colours as the last of the cake. So I still have some of that left, which I think I've probably got enough to make a one skein shawl that I can wear as a scarf out of. And it is this sort of pinky purple. So, yeah. did that, thought about the bottom. I did put I-cord edgings on the sleeves and on the neckline, but I put a rib on the bottom because of the flippy upness. But I wasn't able to save any of the yarn from the first colour, or the black wasn't ever black on its own. It was always black with a colour. So what I did, and I swear this was such a good idea at the time, I am never doing it again. I went through my stash of sewing cottons and I picked out some that were close, and then using sewing thread, I can't remember how many threads I used. I think it was 6. But for around the neckline, I held them all together. I think it was 6. Some of the as close as I could get to this colour and black. I don't know how well you can see that. And then round the sleeve edging, I did the same thing, but just with black. So that's sewing thread, because the yarn itself is made up of 4 strands of cotton acrylic. So it worked. It was a bit of a faff, but it worked. So those are all the ones that I have so far. There are 6 of them. They fit me really nicely. I think I put some A-line shaping into this one as well. I've kind of got my recipe now. I know what size I'm making. I like to put a bit of A-line shaping in so that they're just not quite so tight around my tummy. And I like to put on ribbings rather than I-cord. I put I-cord on that last one because it would take less thread than ribbing. So I'm going to be casting on this. It's the Pop Rock Pullover, and it's very similar to the Rocket Tee in looks. It's a very different construction, but Tanis says to knit the same size as you do the Rocket Tee. And I don't think that's going to work for me because, as I've just said, I like the Rocket Tee to be fairly fitted. It skims. It's not like skin tight, but it skims. Whereas this, I don't know if you can tell from the photo, it's a fairly boxy fit. I could go with the same size and put in my A-line shaping, but I'm not sure that's going to look so great either. So I think what I'm going to do is go up a size. I've checked my gauge. As we know, I do not gauge swatch. I am allergic to it. But I've knit 5 and I've checked my gauge. And my gauge, depending on the yarn, is around 5.5 to 6 stitches to the inch. So I've taken that. I've multiplied that by the number of inches around that I want, and I'm going to be going up a size, which is what I thought I needed to do. So the sizing is slightly different, I think, because the shaping is different. But obviously I'm going to knit one, like I've done with these. I'm going to knit one according to the pattern, except that I probably will put a ribbing on the bottom. Possibly around, no, I probably won't around the sleeves and the neckline. I'll stick with the I-cord. But yeah, I'm going to put a ribbing around the bottom because of the flippy up nature, which is part of the problem of having an I-cord on the bottom of a garment. And part of the problem of being shaped like a cello. So things tend to roll up on me. Gravity doesn't work in holding them down. So my next thing is to choose the colours that I'm going to make it in. Now, this is where the trauma begins. So I'm going to quickly run through my options. I'm not asking anybody to choose them for me. I am a Libra. If anybody tells me which one to do, I will immediately discount that one and do something else. So I'm not asking for options. I'm not asking you to vote on which one you like the best. I'm just showing you what my options are so that you will understand the level of indecision that I'm about to struggle with. Are you ready? I have got one of my gradient sets. It's one that I saved for myself. I'm going to show you a photograph of it, which isn't necessarily, it's a bit blown out, but it's this one. It's the Sea Glass Vibes, and it's 12 20-gram minis. So I think I would add something in between each mini. I've got a lovely blue, a Yarn Smith's blue merino that would go with it perfectly as a narrow stripe between each of the colour changes. So that's an option. I've got these two. This is another two of my yarns. This one is Heat Wave. This one I think might have been Romance. I can't really remember. I took it out of my Bits and Bobs blanket. It was going to go in there and I took it out. I've got one each of these, and I've got a few balls of this, which is Drops Kid Silk in colour 17. I can't remember what it was called on the website, but I thought it's not going terribly well on there. I thought they would go together. That's two. Then I have these three, again, all my own yarns. These two are from the Advent Revisited series, and this one was a mystery skein for February. I'm sure I can say that now because everyone who wanted one has got one. They're not for sale anymore, either of these. So, but I think they would work together because the blue is similar, and then it's not coming out very well on the camera, but there's kind of a green. No, that's not coming out at all. And this has got a tealy green in it. So I think they would also work. There's about to be an avalanche. Do not be startled by any falling yarn sounds that you hear. Also, it's about to get rustly because all the rest are in bags. So if you're wearing earphones, prepare for that. I have these. Again, these were all Advent Revisited colourways. Those two are the same, that's a different one. So I could add that one in. Why don't I just take them out the bag? Take them out the bag, Mandy. Okay, these two are the same. They don't look it because of the way they're wound, but they are in fact the same. So I could use those two with this mohair, which goes with the pink. And I could, if necessary, add in this skein also. That's what option 4. I'm sorry about the rustling. Right. Then I have these. I've got two of these. This was last year's birthstone collection, the variegated aquamarine. And this was the mystery skein for March this year. Again, everyone who's wanted one has got one already. So 2 of these and this one. And I think they would go really nicely together. And I could use 2, or I could use 1, and this mohair. Then see, all of this is coming from stash, and it's mostly my own yarn. The reason for that being that 99% of the yarn that I dye because I like it. And then, of course, I have to keep some because I liked it. So, this was last year. One of the colourways I did for Halloween. And I can't remember what it was called. I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments. Might have been Spooky Season? Don't remember. Doesn't matter. Not available anymore anyway. So I've got 2 of these, and then I've got this. And this is, technically it's a DK, but it doesn't look a lot thicker than this, which is a 4-ply. This is 80% acrylic, 20% wool. It's sugar spun, Signet sugar spun, in shade Fluffy Cloud. And I thought they went together really nicely. Then, and this is where I started. Sorry, I'm going to stop talking while I'm rustling. This is where I started, and this is probably my favourite option, so will probably the one I make first. Notice I say first because I know there's going to be more than one. We all know there's going to be more than one. This was a colourway that I dyed up last year that nobody but me liked, so I kept all of it. This is called Sci-Fi. And it's navy and kind of a russety and reds and golds. And I have this navy blue. Told you there'd be an avalanche. I have this navy blue, which might be a bit bright. Or I have got some black mohair that I could use with it. But black might be a bit too overwhelming. And finally, so there. I have these 2. Again, Advent Revisited, no longer available. These are Blackpool Tower. So they've got the blue and a bit of the orange. And I've got an incomplete ball of this, which I don't remember what it was. It might be Peach Melba. I think it might be Peach Melba. But so that's... Rocket wants me to feed him. That's that one. But as I say, this is an incomplete ball. So as a backup, I have got, this is only a little bit, but I have got a ball of this, which is West Yorkshire Spinners turmeric with some of my hair attached, of course, that would go as well. I have many options. And I am already very indecisive. This is my favourite option. I'm now covered in bits of mohair. This is my favourite option, the Sci-Fi, but I just don't know that navy is quite right. I have got a colour that's a similar sort of goldy colour to that. Maybe I should have a look at that as well. So that will be getting cast on in the next week or so. And it will be a surprise to all of us, including me, which colour I end up casting on first. I'm also going to be casting on, and obviously I'm going to go through all of this on a podcast as well. This pattern comes out on the 20th of June. It's by Amber O'Brien and it's called Neon Sunshine. And I had been going to use that sea glass gradient set that I showed you just now, but then I thought that's a bit of a waste because it would make a lovely tea. So I've got some leftover mystery mini sets from last year. I've got one of this set, which I think was February. Kingfisher. No, March it was. One's escaped. And I've got two of this set, which was October. It's gone down the side of my chair. That's lost for the minute. So that gives me 15 mini skeins and I only need 12. So I can weed out 3. I'm thinking probably this one because it doesn't really go with the others. This one is very close to the one that I've dropped, so probably that one and the one that I've dropped, which leaves me with these. So say I've got 2 sets of this, so I don't know, but I can jiggle about. There's 3 circles with that you use 4 in each. So I was thinking use the October in the first and the last circle, March in the middle circle, and I think I'm going to use, dare I say it, a beige for the main yarn, because I don't want to go with black. I go with black so much because black is kind of a favourite colour. But this is quite springy. It's a wrap. I'm almost inevitably going to end up wearing it as a scarf or sort of, you know, round my shoulders and then held at the front with a, what do you call those things? Shawl cuff. So I want it to be spring-like, summer-like, rather than just going for my usual black. So, yeah, that's kind of a sneak peek at what's coming in the next few weeks. But yeah, so I've made a horrible mess. You've got no idea how much mess I've made, and I've got to clear it all up. What time is it? Oh, I've got about an hour before Dave gets in from work. That's okay. Yes. So I hope you've enjoyed the little surprise visit, and I hope you don't mind that I showed you a small amount of my yarn mountain. Apart from the mohairs, it's all mine, isn't it? I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Anyway, I'm going to go. I will see you as normal on Wednesday for the next episode of the podcast, making some good progress on my current whips and restraining myself from casting on the new Pop Rocks tea. So until I see you on Wednesday, I don't know why I say that. I don't see anybody. You see me. I'm going to go. Bye, guys.